wrong, but that song was in the wrong key, right? And too high. And where are all my baritone and alto singers at? Who's got a lower range, like me, okay? Yeah. So sometimes we can't sing the song in the original key. You gotta repitch it, right? Oh, this one's mine again, okay. I love Pedro Pascal so much. This is the way. The guy is a meme legend. I just love this. So I made this meme because just to set you guys up, especially you, Chad, because like, I mean, aren't you teaching on the live stream best practices later?
Yeah.
I'm gonna plug your.
Just to avoid showing up on any of those Instagram accounts for any reason. But if you haven't already, give them a follow. Make sure you show them some love because there's some funny stuff and some actually great, equipping, and inspiring content.
Yeah.
So I just want to share for a couple minutes with you today about what we do at Sunday Sounds. If you're not familiar, we are a website that produces resources to help you level up the worship keyboard position at your church. So if you are yourself a keys player, or if you're a worship leader who wants to set up the keys players on your team for success, that's what we are obsessed with at Sunday Sounds. And we do this by helping you figure out the sounds that you need, the place that the keyboard can fill in your band.
And it's a video.
Oh my God.
All right, click. No, we're not
I don't
expecting.
think we're expecting. Let's not park in the mom expecting lot, shall we?
Okay.
That'd be funny. Doug,
My friend David also does piano tutorials on our channel as well. They're incredible. You've probably seen them. So that's about probably half of our channel. Anyway, I'm going to do a talk about live streaming. I have no idea what the title is that you read, but my title is Best Practices. So this is going to go for our tech directors. There's a seat right here. Well, no, sorry, there's some sunglasses.
No, he's the seat.
Okay. But no, there's a seat there, and there's one right there, 1, 2, right there. But we're going to talk about live streaming best practices for tech directors, worship leaders. I'm a kind of a worship leader, tech director, as probably most of us are. We don't really get a chance to be just what we went to school for or what God called us to be. We got to be a little bit of everything. So I'm coming at it from that perspective. I ain't training enough of a guy though, and he's doing really well. So if you ever watch this, his name is Jaden. Thank you, Jaden.
Hello, Jake.
Oh, yeah, he's on the camera. There you go. So we're going to talk about things that I really hope that you can gain value from. I'm so glad you're sitting right there because this is our stage. We're going to show some examples today, and this is our stage. Stay right there.
All right, man.
No, you're good.
I'm the model.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to show you examples. We're going to get into it, though. But I want to ask a question. Well, I want to say something first. Can I say something? Live streaming is the practice of transmitting video. You can read it on the screen. I don't even need to be here. Transmitting video over the internet in real time as it occurs, right? That's kind of scary. Like, I don't know where this is right now. This is just on your phone, right? It's live. It's live. To me, it's scary, right? Like, because you don't know, like, any of those things could happen, and a worship meme page could be recording you at any second and put you up. I'm telling you, if they had all of our footage from all of my live streams, I could fill up a worship meme page, fill page in seconds. But I like to ask this question: why do we, as the church, worry about broadcasting our service? It's a question. It's an open question for you to answer. Why do we worry about that? Let's get some answers in here.
For those who are sick.
Yeah, say it all at the same time.
Reaching more people?
Yeah, absolutely. Reaching more people. For those who are sick, that's a great answer.
Marketing.
Marketing, yes. What else?
First impression.
First impression, like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Shut-ins.
Shut-ins, that's a great answer. I was doing this for Jimmy and Kevin. We're staying together this weekend, and that's one thing that they do live streaming for, is for their shut-ins. And all those are great answers. And you need to know why you're live streaming. You got to know why. It's incredibly important. I'm not going to tell you why, because you're going to have a different reason than our reason, right? And I love this verse. Is go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And this comes out of Matthew.
If I have to spend the time to edit it, it's a lot more work for me than just
Yeah.
whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. It can be a chore for some people, for sure. And I think learning how to use the live streaming equipment and still thinking about it in this way is actually a great option, because that's what we did for a little while. In fact, at the beginning of, in 2020, when we took 9 weeks away from church, as most of you did, but we went to work every day, just like we did before COVID. But we filmed our service, and we filmed our pastor on a Wednesday, and I've never seen a pastor go for 20 minutes. First of all, 20 minutes, whoa, and then he's like, okay, let me do a take 2. It was great. It was fine. Anyway, but that was crazy. But it gave us the ability to put together the service as we saw that it needed to be put together, and we were able to live stream it using a couple of one tool in particular to make it look live. Or you can just do a Premiere or something like that. Another thing that you can do with that is you can pull clips out of the sermon and make them reels and shorts for your social media during the week. And but I will say real quick though, like, this is one of the greatest ways for your online audience, your online presence to grow doing this. This is our church. We don't have hundreds of thousands of followers, but we have many more followers on our channels than we would have if we didn't start doing something like this. We're not perfect at it. We're trying to get better. Same thing with my YouTube channel. It's grown on Instagram because I started piecing together some reels and stuff like that from the larger video from YouTube. Okay, there's one element that we got to talk about before we go into some examples, and it's on the screen right now. Audio is probably the most important element of your broadcast, because if it sounds bad, then everything we're about to talk about doesn't even matter, because no one will be watching. You could have the best video. You have the best cameras, the best video, like the best shot composition. We're going to go into some of that later. You could have incredible video, 3000K video, right? If it sounds horrible, people are going to click away, right? Like instantly. Am I right? Like, tell me if I'm wrong, but I do. If I watch YouTube videos that are just they're garbage audio, but their video. I mean, the video can almost be anything you want it to be. You can shoot it through a potato. If it has great audio, you're going to stay. You're going to be like, oh, okay, let me listen in. So I like to say that, because that's so important. That's the first thing that we need to tackle. I'm not going to tell you how to get the greatest mix, but there are 2 ways to send audio to your live stream. So if you're taking notes, this is a good time to do that. If you don't know these things, but a DAW is a digital audio workspace, and it's like Logic Pro, Pro Tools, Ableton Studio One. There's tons of them. And then also you have a separate and second sound console dedicated to your broadcast. That's very important, because mixing from a bus, if you know what I'm talking about with a bus from your board, that's just not the best way to do it. It's actually the worst way to do it, because you don't get to monitor that very closely. One thing that we do in our broadcast room is we have decent speakers. They're not very expensive speakers. And we mix listening to those speakers. We also mix listening with AirPods. We mix listening to just the phone itself, and then in the car, and then with a TV like this. on the wall. Now, we're not mixing all that for every single Sunday morning, but we're getting an idea of what those sound like each week. Anyway, that's just a great way to look at it. Actually, I sat in with a guy, he was mixing audio for a very big church, and I said, what speakers are these? He said, that's actually kind of a big regret for us. I think they were Mackie something or another. Really nice speakers. Each studio speaker was probably $4,000. He said, I really wish we wouldn't have gone with those because they're way too good.
Yeah.
They're way too good. So he's like, sometimes I just turn that off and plug in my AirPods. Or put in my AirPods. All right, so the easiest way to have the best live stream mix is to hire a pro audio technician. Just do it. Spend the money, right? Or work with an audio tech that isn't necessarily considered a pro, but is aspiring to be, in combination with using a live stream mixing solution like, and this is a plug for him, he's not even here at this conference. His name's John, but it's thelivestreammixco.com. Thelivestreammixco.com. I think I have it up. Let's see. Just so you can see. Oh, that's you. That's you. All right, let's see. Oh, here he is. Yeah, so that's not him. But this is his website. How does it work? There he is right there. Meet John. Anyway, so there are template people that can make templates with your doll or with your, not your like Barbie doll, but with your doll, DAW, or with your mixer. They have all this stuff at their disposal, and they make your mix sound incredible. They make a template, they send it back to you, and you install that, and then you run it from there, and they also do training, stuff like that. So if you want to know that information, like if you can't write this down right now and I need to send it to you later, just let me know. But the live stream mix guy, I get nothing from that. We just did a podcast together, and he's awesome. So yeah, get good audio, achieve good audio. If you've learned anything today, just achieve good audio. Like some of the worst video is like those just widescreen shots that are kind of angled like that. But if they have good audio, it doesn't matter, right? Okay, so now number one, after I've already said 100 things, number one is choose a live streaming platform that has the tools you need. So you're looking for services that gives you multi-streaming support. What is that? That is actually multi-bitrate streaming. So multi-streaming, if you don't know, is where you can go to different channels. So like YouTube, different channels on YouTube, Facebook, different profiles on Facebook, and all the others. I think some even support Instagram and things like that as well. So these are going to be products like live stream. Oh, so this is what you're looking for. These are the things you're looking for in a company. So live streaming solutions, multi-site streaming, pre-recorded streaming, which I love that stuff. Pro Presenter Stream, if you use that. And then for multi-campus, you need an encoder and you need decoders for that. That's beyond me because I don't use those right now. I don't know if I ever will, but I'm trying to do a video with a guy that does that. So maybe look for that on the channel. His name's Matt. But anyway, so Resi.io is probably the best. It's probably considered the most professional one. Resi is incredible, and they support everything that I just talked about. Is that what that says? Yeah. Okay, good. And then I actually use Restream a lot. Restream's great. They have a lot of those same features. You can stream on so many different platforms. I don't bother with all that. We just go to Facebook and YouTube. But what's great about them though is if you need an engaging stream tool, something that you can see comments and respond back to those live right away. Like their engagement tools are incredible. So go check that out if you want that. Anyway, those are just two that I really like. So we got caster.com, Livestream, StreamYard, Switchboard.live, and many more. This right here, take a picture of this link. I think I have it right here as well. Where's my cursor? There we go. Is this it? No, that's CMG. I don't know, it doesn't matter. Okay, but that link right there, here, I'll give it back to you. Actually is a great blog that I just found randomly, and they go over all the live streaming platforms Oh, mind the way? Sorry. They go over all the live streaming platforms and give you pros and cons for all of them. It's really good. Good resource to have. All right. So number 2, we're going to test our stream and internet connection beforehand. This is incredibly important. You can run test streams if you want to. Test streams are I think they're very important because it gives you the ability to try everything out. So you can run these in your rehearsals, not your practices, your rehearsals, right? and so you can make them public or private. And then, like I said here, also you want to be sure your teams know how it works. I like how I worded this, and what every button will do when you press it while live. So some of us use like actual consoles, like the ATEM stuff, the Blackmagic stuff, and I don't even know any other. Roland maybe makes, I don't know. And then some of us use software, and it's just very important to know, oh, what if I press this button while I'm live, right? Like doing this presentation, what if I press this? Oh, that does that. Oh, okay, yeah, no problem. And I stress to my team, press it. If you don't know what it doesn't matter, press it, see what happens, and we can fix it. I can go back to a previous save and bring back our original settings. Like, don't worry about it. See what happens. And then if you are just testing the quality and stability, so maybe you're not testing your cameras, but you're just trying to test your actual stream itself. I do a test stream overlay on mine. So if needed, plan a training day. I just did one with our team. And what you want to do is test and stress all of your equipment. See what that equipment can take. Actually, I did that with our cameras, and we did a 24-hour worship service. 24-hour worship service. We've done 2 now. And we streamed the entire thing. And that stresses, well, me out, first of all. Being on stage for 5-6 hours at a time. And there's a sound going up to heaven the entire 24 hours. It's so much fun. I should have did a thing about that. But we use all of our live streaming equipment and to see what and see if our stream goes down at a certain point. See if our software is able to tell us how much cash we're building on, not like actual money, but the memory, and I don't know how it works. But to see at what point or what causes that to build up and then cause our stream to start lagging. So those are things this is actually, let me put up a background so you can see it. This is actually what we put up. Come here. There it is. This is actually what we put up with overlaying on top of our camera, a background. It doesn't matter. We just put that up, have some music playing if you have the licensing for that. And join us Sunday at 10:30. Just like I said in there, like I don't worship to bring in the people online. Like we want people to come in the room. So I even encourage on a test stream, like join us, be with us. But we decided we're going to stream, so there we go. So number 3, so this is really small, but it says plan out your live stream and have a backup plan. How are we doing on time? What time does this one end at 3? Okay, so I want to go over this. This is very important to me. Our service, this is exactly how we do for the most part. There's a lot more detail, but this is an idea of what we do. So our service time is at 10:30. At 8 a.m. we're arriving to power up all equipment and check for any issues. Charge batteries if needed, prep switcher and camera. At 8:30, so in that time, there's all kind of other things happening. This is just for our live stream team and our video people. 8:30, mock stream with camera operators to learn song cues and the best camera angles. So we have 2 cameras that run on Sunday morning, and we make it look like we have 7 because we're running back and forth. Like, okay, we got camera A is that center shot, and then we have camera B. We use the letters. Camera B is using a monopod, and they're getting that shot, whatever, setting it down, get it stable, or moving, that kind of thing, and they're running all over the auditorium to get those different shots, and we cut to that shot when necessary. 9 o'clock, so we do that for about 30 minutes. 9 o'clock, we actually have an entire worship team meeting, but it also gives us time to do a video team meeting to discuss their strategy. So we use this time to fix any issues, prep the stream, platform like with titles and thumbnails if you have them. And then at 10:20, so we have a lot of time in between there to get coffee, to get something to eat, but we also have time to get things ready if we need it. And then at 10:20, our switcher and camera operator are in place, and we go on air at 10:20 as well. And we show, okay, so this is important. So we show the real announcement slides, not real versus fake, but real, like they circle around. You know what I'm talking about. And then we do that from ProPresenter. Depending on your licensing, have music playing behind your announcements. It looks better. That's just what we do. You can do all kinds of things. You can do pre-recorded announcements through there. You can do all. The sky's the limit. This is just what we do. And then on comms, so we use a comm system. On comms, talk through your first shots. So this is your producer / switcher. They're going to talk through that first shot, whatever's happening on stage first, and then have the camera operator, whoever that will be, in position, ready to go.
Yeah, I have the long sleeves with me. But we got some leaves changing.
God, we thank you for that truth, that when everything is shaken, you're a firm foundation. We put our hope and our trust in you, God. No matter what it is we're facing, we know that you're with us. Come on, worship leaders, sing this out. Rain came, wind blew, but my house was built on you. I'm safe with you. I'm gonna make it through. Rain came, wind blew, but my house was built on you. And I'm safe with you. I'm gonna make it through.
As we discussed this morning, you need to endeavor to be on the same page with the pastor. It is a divided church when the worship pastor and the pastor itself are not on the same page. And you know, personal favorite though on this list is distractions. Distractions have to be managed. Now every church has a hall monitor. You guys remember from grade school, right, who the hall monitor was? It was the one who kept an eye on everybody and made sure that everybody was doing the right thing. Our church has 8, I think, maybe 9. Hall monitors know who departed for the bathroom. They know when they left. They know how long they were gone. And they know if they did it twice. By their nature, these are easily distracted folk. If you've seen the movie Up, how many of you have? Squirrel? Yeah. Right? Everybody? That's the nature of managing distractions in church. The squirrel factor is real and it happens in church. So here's a few that I've seen or have firsthand squirrel effects. One was the bass player with an oversized sweatshirt embossed with the word Nirvana, leading some in the church to wonder if the church was now promoting Buddhist theology. There was also a couple guys in the back row that had actually remembered Nirvana, had been to one of their concerts, and they spent the rest of the time reminiscing. So, just a social messaging of any kind in clothing can be a distraction, and it has lit up more than one email account. Lord knows we're divided enough already, and there are other days of the week to wear that particular article of clothing. So maybe as a worship pastor, you might be able to reduce distraction in that way. There was a guitarist once who had his hat pulled so far down over his eyes that the hall monitor wondered, what's he hiding? Suspecting sin. Had to be sin. It's too low, sin. Up here, you're okay. That's the way people are. One of my favorites, too much spandex and too little clothing. Those things can really set people off, and it has over and over and over again. I know of one instance where music was played in the church so loudly that the house next door called to ask if they would tone it down just a little bit. Out the wall, across the way, into the wall, into the house. It kind of made me wonder if there was a little bit of distraction going on in that church as well that day, but I could be wrong. It was my wife who actually experienced it while visiting her niece in Denver. Introducing too many new songs in a short period of time can be awfully distracting. My buddy who I went out with that day said his church did it one time, 3 songs in one service. And as you might guess, worship died. Everything died. 3 songs in a service is just a little bit too much. At CCLI, we get all kinds of things that I can't possibly share with you. It just wouldn't be prudent. But there is one that I will share because I think it protects the guilty. We received one copy report from a church, and one of my staff brought it to me, and they said, does this kind of feel right to you? And I looked at it, and I said, I don't think I know any one of those songs. There were 26 of them on the list, and they said, well, we can't figure it out either. Who's the author? Ain't the author? Don't know the author? Okay, we better make a call on this one. So we called the church, and we said, we just want to do our duty and make sure that the reporting on this song is correct. Can you confirm that the 26 songs that were done were actually done? And we got the church secretary who ground out, yep, we did every single one of them. It's a very excited church. I think that went over really well. But think about it. Think about it. 26 weeks in a CCLI church reporting period, and the only songs that were done were written by the pastor. Now there's a lot of good songs out there. We just heard one moments ago that move us forward. So if you are a songwriter, worship leader, please consider it's fine to introduce a song, but maybe not 26 over a 6-month period. Just a thought, I don't know.
Okay, into the window.
Best yeah, we gotta do this every year.
Oh, and it's a video again.
Oh, there you go. Captures the moment.
That's right. Sunday Sounds.
Okay.
That's 3 for you guys, yeah.
Let's use Okay.
Jody W. If your partner is not coming to play, you just come up to me and I'll call for them. You found Jody? Okay, Jody, we're looking for you.
Yeah, Jody's right there.
Okay, there he is.
Okay, we're at
But I'm rooting for David, dude. He's good.
Oh, you lost?
No, I'm rooting for David.
Sean, yes, I'm not up yet, I guess, right? There's only 8.
Yep, you're second up.
Oh, I see.
Yes, this is coming up.
So,
That's all right, no problem.
Am I go first? Am I go first?
Yeah, you can go first, Andy. All right. Whoa. No, I gotta take Andy to Lalo's. Not
Lalo.
Lalo's, not
The
Blue Mount
Mexicano
Maddie's.
food, baby.
Yeah.
Mexicano
The
food.
real deal. He's gonna evaluate them.
So he says. So he says.
And Tyler versus Tony and Eric. Who else are we missing here? Court 5, Chadwick and Andy versus David and Elliot. Some of you might have gotten a bye if you look at the listing there. So few people got buys. So there we go. Remember, you're only playing to 5, so these games are gonna go pretty quick. Please stick around, don't leave if you lose. But remember, if you didn't win a board last year, the top 3 positions, so we're giving away boards for the advantage of winning this thing is you get first pick of what boards you want. So
Okay.
you get first pick.
Andy's going all the way, I think.
All different brands.
Here we go.
Really annoying. You know it now. Let's do it. Get on board. There you go.
Yep.
come on, Matt.
Okay, we got Les and Jamie. They are psychologically preparing for their championship match. Dan and Justin will be playing for 3rd place, so the loser will not win a board, unfortunately.
Oh.
Unbelievable.
Striper! Yeah, dude. Shoot. I just saw them. It is? Alright. Slow that down. Is that what it was? I know it's something up there. Yeah. Okay. In there, in there.
Yeah. All right, Andy. This is it.
First time I saw them.
Okay, guys. Nope. There we go. Loser.
Okay, Andy.
Okay, we need lots of cell phone lights here if you're standing around. Come on. We'll keep score here. There's a lot of pressure going on. Oh, getting close. Oh! Is he gonna get it in? Oh, he's blocking the hole. Close. Oh, coming back, going right in the hole. Right in the hole. No, you need to put it. Land it on. Land it on. Oh! We got a 1-point game here. It's 1-0. Who is that? Mark the score. Do you have the score tower there? We need it. Someone bring the score over here. Okay, winner goes first. Winner of that goes first. Somebody enter the score.
Okay.
Okay, we need the lights on. You guys got some cell phone lights? Oh, too much pressure, hey? Oh! He's close. Oh, the worship innovator bags. Oh, he puts it in! This could be a finish. No! Good job, very good. Oh! Is that tied? Guys, this is a 1-point game, so we got 1
job,
for Chad
Justin.
and Justin,
Nice shot.
0 for Chad and Andy. The pressure is mounting. Oh, pulling ahead.
Oh.
Very nice, very nice. Oh, he's just landing them safely on. Come on, in that hole. What do we got? 5? Is that game? Oh, what? 3-1. Someone says it's 3-1. Wait a second. Count them up here. There's one in the hole? There's one in the hole. -2. 3 minus 2 is... So 5. Oh, 3 on the board. So that's 6-1 is 5. So that is. Sorry, game over, boys. There we go. Okay, let's bring the championship match in here. Come on. Are you feeling the pressure? Yeah. Oh, gets it right up there. That's it, gently on. Oh! Whoa! Wait. Everyone stop. What do we got here? Huh? It's tied right now. Okay, just so we know. Okay. Okay, put it in for the win. In the hole for the win. Just saying. No! It is a tie game. 10-all! Oh my goodness! I couldn't have paid for such good advertising. Oh, this is great. Did you guys know Praise Charge put this tournament on? Just saying. Oh my goodness. 10-all. Oh, he faked it! Way to go! He took a risk. He took a risk. Oh, he comes back! Thrilling. Oh, he's sitting on the edge. Just put it on the board. Safe. Okay, wait. If you put it on, it's tied. If you go in, you take it. So we all know. Oh, it's a tie. This game just won't end. Okay, we're leaving it up to these guys. I would say just put it on that board. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Oh, he lands it on. Come on, get it on the board. Oh! Can he go in the hole? No.
On the board, Mike.
If you put it on. Oh, save. We have a champion! Oh, you guys, congratulations. Come on, handshakes all around. Okay, now what I would like, guys, is everybody come here by these boards. We're gonna show the winners. We want a big picture. The drone's gonna be around for a picture. All right. So submit that, and it's gonna show the winners. Justin, you'll have to wait till.
We are at.
You know what to do.
There you go. We're at Lalo's.
We are at Lalo's.
Doug has talked it up, so we shall see if this is a
get the
Mexicana.
Botana Campanada.
Botana Campanada.
And we're going to get Andy's grade on this and see how
Yeah,
good
yeah.
Mexican it is.
Oh, I know, right? So here we are, Mexican
Botana.
food. Botanas looks good.
Botana is platter.
Watching some football.
Campanada is
Yeah.
combination.
Something like that, yeah. So here we go. Here we go.
Okay. And this is in Berwyn. Berwyn?
No salsa.
Berwyn.
The salsa just hit. You know it's good.
Svengoolie. You gotta do it.
Bro.
You gotta do the Svengoolie.
Svengoolie.
There we go. Berwyn.
Keep it clean for who needs it clean. You know, because some people just want, this is all they want.
Andy likes clean.
I love clean.
Yeah, me too. I'm a designy kind of guy. Like
Yes.
the UI is pretty strict.
Look at all the
back.
layers now, yeah.
Hey, I'm supposed to be in the huddle right now. You go.
Botana Campanada. Okay.
Botana Campanada. Combinada.
.294's bumper to bumper today. .790 Jory Boulevard in Oak Brook. Ready for the conference. Where's Andy? Green, green. Few leaves changing. Worship Innovators.
Any orange cones?
We are ready to innovate with
join the resurrection. Stand beside the heroes of the faith. With one voice, 1,000 generations sing, worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Come on, let's lift our voice. And on that day, you join the resurrection. Stand beside the heroes of the faith. With one voice, 1,000 generations sing, worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Forever he shall reign. Enemies and the day shout the hymn of heaven. The angels and the saints, we raise a mighty roar. Glory to our God, who gave us life beyond the grave. Holy, holy is the Lord. Let it be today. We shout the hymn of heaven. Calling on the God. I'm calling on the God of Mary, whose favor rests upon the lowly. I know with you all things are possible. I'm calling on the God of David, who made a shepherd boy courageous. I may not face the light, but I've got my own giants. Oh God, my God, I need you. Oh God, my God, I need you now. How I need you now. Oh rock of ages, I'm standing on your faithfulness, on your faithfulness. Your faithfulness, God, sing to you now. Won't you sing your song to the Lord? Your faithfulness, all generations. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. You heard your children. You heard your children. You are the same God. You are the same God. You answered prayers back then. You answered prayers now. You are the same God. You are the same God. You were providing.
You know, we almost parked in a mother's parking section. And we said to ourselves, we probably shouldn't do that. And if we did, it'd probably be a boy. So, that's just playing. Hey, Francie, thank you so much for everything. Thanks for your prayers.
Here we are. Worship Innovators.
I love it.
Go down, I hear your voice, carried in the rhythm of the wind to call me out. You would cross an ocean, so I wouldn't drown. You've never been closer than you are right now. Child, you are enough. Child, you are enough. I will be
Okay. That's a great video. Oh, cool. That's what the drone did.
Super fun. Love that. We'll put that up on YouTube. You can watch that. Now's the fun part because we are going to give away. Then we got Les and Jamie who got edged out 10 to 11 yesterday, second place. And Tom and Michael, our crowning champions. Come on, guys. First place. Now, I will say this, that I did say
surprise!
You guys fought for it as well. Lost out in the second finals, but congratulations to you guys. So anyways, this is the Cornhole crew for this year, and we will introduce them to being able to have one of those sets of boards, and great time. We'll hope to do it again next year.
At Worship Together, we provide you with everything you need to lead your church in worship. Our website has thousands of songs to help you plan your worship time. We update them weekly, so you'll always find new, popular, recently added, and favorite songs churches want to sing. In addition, we handpick free charts for you every week, so there's always something new to explore. Use our Song Finder tool to search for songs by title, theme, key, or tempo. When you find a song you like, you can easily transpose that song into any key or convert the chords into a number chart. You can also find an endless selection of related songs and scripture references to incorporate into your service and build your set. Our format makes adding your setlist planning center and utilizing countless other integrations a cinch. We aim to connect you to other helpful worship resources and tools to make your job easier. Check out our new Song Cafe videos to watch acoustic performances and hear the story behind the song. Stay up to date with the latest worship songs and church resources available by subscribing to our newsletter and following us on social media to learn more. Worship Together, everything you need to lead your church in worship.
A generic audience clapping kind of thing on this track, which we don't want to do. We want to get y'all in this, okay? So Jack, let me know. We'll get quiet and we're going to do 2 claps, and I'll kind of put my hand up. That'll be y'all clapping, and then when I put my hand down, you kind of fade out, just like a keyboard, okay? So the first one we're going to do, we're going to just try, and it's just going to be kind of like a general clap. Just give me an example of that. Just sort of a general. And then we're going to do what I call like a yes, Jesus clap, which is next level. I trust y'all in that. I trust y'all.
The all-online, 4-course, 12-credit-hour graduate certificate in worship leadership
will equip you to lead God's people in true, biblically grounded worship.
A pat on the back for you right here in the front row. So, you know, sometimes it can feel heavy, it can feel overwhelming, and it feels like we don't really know where to start. And so let's kick it off with, has there ever been a time where everything fell on you as a worship leader, and how did you handle it? Who wants to jump in first?
Well, I'll start first. First of all, I do lead worship, but I tend to always gravitate towards the sound team and all the tech stuff. And there, I typically have everything fall on my shoulders. And how did I handle it? Well, you know, I think what I try to do is try to make it fun. I was also a youth leader at the same time as I was on the worship team, as I was doing the sound and media tech stuff. And so I just somehow got my youth group interested in doing tech and started bringing them back there. And, you know,
Come let us
Yeah, I love this class. Visual learners like to plot things out. You guys ever been in a rehearsal and somebody has to write down a change on a chord chart? And you're like, oh my gosh, just remember it, right? Just remember it. And you're over there frustrated, and you're like, I'm sorry, everybody has to stop. You have to stop so I can write this down. I can write this down. And then they go and write it down, right? Who does that? But that's visual learners. So as a worship leader, prepare them. We're all on iPads now. Don't write on your iPad, but like, if you have physical charts, having pencils available, having the opportunity, the option, the tools necessary for people to reach down, grab it, do what they need, and continue on. Visual learners love emails, written notes, text messages, thank you notes. My wife, she loves, like, if I write her something. I have oftentimes if I'm leaving, like I come in here, I left at 5 a.m. She's not up yet. Wrote her a note on the bathroom window with a dry erase marker. It's easy, right? But that's how she accepts communication. That's how she feels loved, because she's a visual learner. In this class, always at the end of this class, somebody always goes, you put me in a box. I'm in a lab, don't label me. They're usually 20-somethings. They don't label me, right? Don't label me. I am not a label. I'm just going to tell you right now, these aren't labels. This is legitimately who you are. Okay? So understand. We're going to continue on here, but know that this is how you are wired. And if you run in how you're wired, you're only going to be successful. And if you use that as a strength, you and your wife aren't going to argue, because you are each other's teammates and you know how to have a conversation. More on that later. The third one is a kinesthetic learner. Every time I type this class out, I have to Google how to spell that. Kinesthetic. Kinesthetic means learning by doing. Okay? Learning by hearing, learning by seeing, learning by doing. I had a bass player for a long time. We would travel, I traveled in worship churches, so we had a repertoire of like 40 songs, and we had them all down really well. We'd sound check, and she'd go, I need to run that song again. And you're like, you nailed it, right? She's like, I need to run it one more time. We'd run it, it would sound the exact same as the time before. And then I realized she's a kinesthetic learner. She has to do it in order to feel successful. You guys ever, that's my favorite, like ending rehearsal, you're a worship leader, taking your guitar off, and you're like, you're asking a question, but you really don't want them to say yes. You're like, does anybody want to run anything else before we leave? And someone's like, one more time, you're like, put the guitar back on. Like, I didn't really want you to say that, but maybe. That's kinesthetic learning. Kinesthetic learning is a lot like visuals, and it involves doing, seeing, and feeling. But you can't get frustrated when he or she wants to stop and do something. That's just how they're wired. And when you realize we live in a society where it's like time to move faster. You get it done. But frustration slowly builds, right? And if you're doing something that I'm not going to feel successful with, I'm gonna have a little less trust and a little more frustration. A little less trust, a little more frustration. And over time, little things become big things. Because you don't have my back. I can't trust you because you don't understand me. Does that make sense? Yeah, pay big bucks for that one. Not really. A lot of unneeded drama happens because people don't understand that communication is only as good as it's delivered and it's received. You ever gotten that like package at Christmas? You ever getting a toy when you were a kid?
and fester and grow and if you don't deal with it. So like maybe you have some of these questions because of some of what you've been through in the last year. Is God really good? Life isn't really turning out how I expected. Can I really trust him? Etc., etc., etc. But maybe it's not that you doubt God, but you're distracted from God. Maybe that's the problem. Like you used to run to God first thing in the morning and spend uninterrupted time in his presence, just pouring out your prayers, pouring out your praise, worshiping him, and he was the one you would run to first in the morning. But maybe now it's this horrible thing called a smartphone that distracts all of us from our relationship with God. And it's TikTok and Instagram, and that's the first thing you go to, or podcast, or YouTube, or your stats, or whatever. And we all struggle with it because those manufacturers do that. They make it very addictive. But have we lost our first love? And I just want to encourage you, you need to make sure that your faith in God is strong. And so at the end of this talk, hopefully we'll have time, I just want to give you a chance to deal with that and be like, Lord, heal me, help me, and restore me. And help me to strengthen my relationship with you. Because you have to spend time with someone to have a good relationship with someone. And so I want to make sure that you are growing in your relationship with the Lord. So that's the first question, is just, how is your faith in God actually? Like really dig down deep as you're driving home or flying home. Lord, how is my relationship with you? But maybe it's not your faith in God that was broken over the last year, but maybe it's your faith in people, because people suck sometimes. Okay? So maybe your faith in people has been shaken. Your team members left you. Loyal team members, people that you thought you could always count on, dipped out on you. Maybe your pastors or elders treated you poorly. Maybe you were fired or let go, or your position was moved without your input. Or maybe like Matt, your church was closed without even talking to you about it. So it hurts. People can hurt us. But God doesn't want you to carry around that bitterness and resentment, because you can't love people if your heart is closed off towards people. And so God maybe wants you today to forgive and to get rid of all bitterness. Get rid of the bitterness, and then be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other just as Christ and God forgave you. And so maybe that's your thing today when you're driving home or flying home, is you're saying, Lord, help me to forgive those people so that I can have an open heart again to those that you put in my path. You don't want to go into your ministry with unhealth, because you will create an unhealthy ministry. So we will deal with that at the end as well through prayer. Maybe it's not God. Maybe it's not your faith in God or people that's been broken, but it's your faith in the church as an institution. You have seen all the yuckiness on the news about the scandals and the high-profile pastors falling into sin. You've seen the megachurch pastors and the mini-church pastors all struggling and giving into money, sex, power, pleasure, right? And you're like, what's the use of the church if we look exactly like the world? But I want to remind you, the church is not perfect. It's Jesus that's perfect, okay? And here's the crazy thing, you guys. Jesus, knowing everything that we would ever do, all the stupid decisions we'd ever make, all the sin, all the lust, all the idiotic moves, all of our evil, all of our bitterness, our divisions, and our greed. And knowing all of that, Christ said, yeah, they're worth it. I'm going to give my life for them. He knew all of it. And he said, I'm going to give my life for them. For God demonstrated his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. And that's how much the church is worth to Christ. And the church is his bride, his most beloved bride, his precious jewel, the one that he treasures, even with all of its flaws, all of its yuckiness, all of the things that we see and go, that's disgusting. Christ loves it with a love that's not even incomprehensible to our tiny human brains. There is nothing that Christ loves more than his church. And he asks you and me to care for his church with all of its ugliness and all of its flaws and everything. Look at Acts 20:28. Pay careful attention to yourselves and to all the flock in which the Holy Spirit has made you overseers to care for the church of God, which he obtained with his own blood. Now, I'm going to skip these two verses here, but it's just reminding us how Christ entrusts us to lay down our life for the church. He laid down his life for the church. Are you willing to lay down yours for the church, even knowing all the yuckiness and the ugliness that you're going to get yourself into by doing that? Are you willing? to lay down your life like Christ did. Even if it's brutal, even if it's hard, even if it costs us everything. The church is his eternal bride, and so my prayer is that we go home and we love it the way that he does. And that's hard, and that's why we need to ask him for help. And so I want to pray for you, and then the band is going to come on stage, and we're going to just cap this whole conference off in worship. And I would love for, actually, if every person could close their eyes in this room and no peeking, okay? And please no peeking, let's respect each other. If your faith in God has been a little bit broken or shattered or affected, and you just need him to restore your faith, would you raise your hand so I can know and I can pray for you? Thank you. And you can keep your hands up. If your faith in other human beings has been shaken over the last year, can you raise your hand? I feel you. And then if your faith in the church has been shaken because you've seen the ugliness and you're like, I don't know if I want to give my life to this. Okay, raise your hand. Okay. God, every hand that's raised here is a hand that's struggling. We've all been through a lot this year, but we commit again to loving you with our whole heart, whole mind, and whole strength. We commit to loving people as you love them, and we commit to loving your church and laying our lives down and our time down and our money down and everything down to build your bride. It's the only thing that will last forever. And so, Lord, help us to do that. Give us the strength we need. Empower us, Lord, by your Holy Spirit to go and with your strength build your church. We love you, Lord. Thank you for this conference and all that we learned. Help us to do the next right thing. In Jesus' name, amen.
Let's all stand together. Let's just close out this conference the right way, right? Let's just really enter into worship. We're all worship leaders here. Let's use our worship leader voices and just really rest in his presence before we start heading home back to our churches.
All my life
Anyone else just sometimes forget how to use a keyboard? Let's do it again.
That was the best.
We're gonna go out with a
I
bang.
heard
This is
his
the last
dad come
song.
in.
Come on, let's give it all we got.
Think about the relationship trust has to gratefulness in your spiritual life. Take a moment to consider that when you place your trust in God, the affirmation of that trust is thanking Him for however the situation turns out. As you begin this cycle of affirmation and thanks, acknowledge God's gift of unfathomable peace. In about 1 mile, turn right.
We're not going to White Castle, though, right?
No.
Good. Thank you for my hat back, Craig.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
We think we just drove by our treehouse from. So, what was the story about the treehouse? Debster in Milwaukee.
Yeah, it's
okay.
It was one of our haunts. One of our many haunts.
Yeah.
You have arrived at your destination. Your route guidance is finished.
We have arrived at Boobies. Okay, yep. Thank you, guy. Here we are.
Turn right.
So within a matter of weeks, a decision was made to close the church entirely. And it felt like a knee-jerk reaction, and it just didn't make sense. And just 2 weeks later, the church held its final service, and the people left behind were devastated. It was heartbreaking. Maybe you have a very similar story, and you're a part of something right now that's completely falling apart. Or it's left you wondering, so what now? What do we do in these moments? How do we handle that? That might be your story right now. Well, what we did is we decided
to boldly step up, innovate, and create a new church. I've learned more in the past 3 months about church innovation than I ever thought possible, and those lessons are what I'd like to share with you this morning. And I really hope that you can apply some of these to your church ministry back at home, whether it's you're leading in the church as a pastor or you're leading a worship ministry. Here's some lessons I'm going to share with you, but there are other times when you need to be intentional and purposeful before
defining what makes good worship keys, because that's a moving target. It could be playing an organ well, it could be playing piano well, different keyboard sounds, strings, complex parts. Sometimes being a good keyboard player means not playing really complex parts. So a few things that I think define good worship keys, and this is entirely subjective and bound by the people on your team, the band you have. I think you need to understand your sound. And that just means the actual sound that is being produced by your instrument or by your volunteers. You need to understand your place. And by place, I mean your place in the band. How is the space that you're filling with your sound or your sounds sitting in with the rest of the band? And then lastly, you need to understand the moment. So you have to understand your sound, understand your place, and then you need to understand the moment. And we'll talk throughout this breakout about what these three understandings really look like as you come to grips with them. So first off, I like to talk about sounds a lot, so let's just do that and kind of get that out of the way. Worship music, in terms of the sounds that we hear, is often piano-centric. Still, there's almost always at least one piano part on most of the songs that your team is going to be playing. And so sometimes you might wonder, do we have a piano player on stage, or do we have a keys player? Maybe you have a piano player and a keys player. I would encourage you to not get too hung up on these exact definitions. It's more so about like, hey, what are we actually bringing to the table as a team, and how's it sitting in? Why this gets tricky for people is because the songs we're covering almost always have tons of keyboard parts. You've got piano, pad, strings, Hammond organ, synth bass, synth lead, synth harp, bells, brass, harp, mandolin, banjo. Like, where do you draw a line between what could be done and what should be done? So you have to learn how to layer the right sounds and make those choices. Maybe I'm going to just focus on the core piano sound, and I'm also going to add a couple other strategic elements to the mix. But I'm not going to chase after banjo and strings and brass for this specific moment. And maybe sometimes you do. I played a brass sound during the worship set this morning, and it was great. I was really excited to be able to bring that. But I might not always choose to make that sort of impact in the band. You have to focus on what's most important. And that means what's most important in two ways. What's most important to the sound of your band, but also what's most important for you as a musician who actually needs to be engaged in the primary thing when we're leading worship, which is worshiping, leading and creating an environment where people can enter in. So sometimes I will have a really cool sound that I love on a recording, and I'll say, man, that's the coolest sound. I am not going to play that when I perform this song, because it would just require too much of my attention. It would pull me too far away from the primary purpose that this position is for. I do need to fill space. I do need to provide some glue, and I want to play my part, but I don't want playing my parts to be so all-consuming that I can't be in the moment, that I can't be a part of the band. A good litmus test for this, if you find that you're on stage playing along to a version of the original recording in your head in all of its complexity, instead of playing with the band that is actually surrounding you, then it might be time to reduce down what you're expecting of yourself and get present with the people that you actually have the opportunity and blessing to serve with. So if you're playing along to the original song in your head, instead of the people on stage with you, it's a good opportunity to assess whether you're asking too much of yourself. And that can be from song to song, set list to set list, or maybe just in general, you might find, whoo, man, my list of things I have to do every set is enormous. Maybe I can simplify this and pull back a bit. You have to develop a producer mindset to be able to do this sort of reducing well. What I mean by a producer mindset is, I mentioned keys 1 through 12, all these different keys parts on the original recordings when you go listen to the stems, to the backing tracks. And all those parts were composed by someone really talented who put a lot of heart and effort into those decisions. And then at some point it went through at least one producer's mind. Like, hey, where does this sit in the mix? What part is it playing? How is it contributing to the overall sound of the band? And then it ended up on the song that you're planning to cover. To step into in worship keys, and sometimes you'll know what's expected, and sometimes you're just going to have to figure it out based on pure context in the moment. Like, what does this moment actually need? How can I support insight into what the keys players on your team are doing, even if just so that you can say, you sound awesome. Thank you for sitting underneath. Thank you for gluing everybody together. Thank you for making space for the other people in the band in this moment. Practicing the moment will help make sure that you don't miss it. So I talked about having this mindset of what are the moments during these songs. But we can talk a bit more about these moments of transition, from song to song, from the end of worship into the offering or into the message, out of the message, back into worship, the altar call, the communion. These moments don't often make it onto the playing center in a way that you can actually be influenced by. You might see communion on the service, but there's probably not going to be tons of context like, David, please play this exact part for this period of time, and you are not going to throw any curveballs at all, and you're going to play for exactly 3 minutes. It's not going to be 27 minutes. It's going to be 3 minutes. That doesn't make it onto planning center, and that's fine because these moments are where the Spirit's moving, where the people in leadership of your church are seeing opportunities to exhort, to encourage, but they don't make it on the plan most of the time. So what we can do as keys players or as leaders who want to empower our keys players is we might not be able to practice for specific moments, but we can see them coming. We can know that they will come. It might not be this service, it might be next week, it might be in a month, but we know that they happen. Because as I tell this story, you'll all kind of laugh a little bit because you've been there or you've done it to one of the people on your team. Like at the very top of the mix. So these lead parts can be exciting, but they can also be really intimidating. That's something that you have to figure out. Do I feel good about that? Is it exciting, or is it something I'm not yet comfortable with? That I need to build up this almost tolerance for, like, oh wow, this is like a moment where I'm doing something that's intended to stand out on top. The same concept, but on the low end, is bass. Most of you probably have a bass player on stage if you have a full band, but oftentimes in modern worship music, it's very common for there to be a doubling or a tripling of the bass from a synth bass sound. This is one of those areas where whether you need to or should fill this space is so contingent on the people in your team, the sound system, the vibe of your church, and what your goals are. I've played with bassists who absolutely love when I say, hey, is it okay if I double this part with synth bass? They're like, yes, you make me sound even fatter. And then other times, I've gone on stage and I've had a bass player who's maybe not as confident or as comfortable, and I can just tell that they just need me to leave that space for them. I'm not going to step on top. I'm not going to try and double, because I can tell that they're still figuring out how to lay down that foundation for themselves. And I don't want to get out in front ahead of them, and I definitely don't want them to feel like I'm doing it because I don't think they're doing a good job at it. And like it needs extra. Otherwise it won't be good. So you know the people that you're playing with. And if you don't, you should work to get to know them or consider them while you're in rehearsal, while you're in soundtrack. What are they bringing? How confidently are they bringing it? Do I have enough relationship with them to make this ask? Have I talked with my worship leader or the audio engineer already about like, hey, would it be weird if the keyboard made really low sounds? Would that be nice? Would you like it, or would it be not good? It all depends on your context. That goes for orchestral textures too. Some churches really love to cover the string parts and the horn parts and all of the harp and all those things, bell parts. Some churches love to play that stuff live because they feel like they're in control of it. Their keys players are excited to do those sorts of things. And other churches really prefer to either scrap those parts and just leave them out of the mix, or sometimes you might have actual string players. Some fun stuff you can do. How much fun stuff is determined by you in the context of your team. How much fun stuff do you need? How much fun stuff do you have capacity for? Let's talk about common spaces. These are sort of the role that you're playing. We talk about defining it, right? Every worship keys player at some point is likely to be asked to glue the band, gluing the band together from a sonic standpoint, right? Playing relatively simple, relatively spacey, open chords that don't box anybody else in, from the guitar parts they're playing, from the bass parts, from the vocal melody and harmony parts. And this is that sort of just like wall of sound thing that a lot of worship music asks of us as keys players. So this is a very common space we get asked to fill. Oftentimes that comes along with what I call just hitting the changes. Like anytime there's a change, chord change, song section change, whatever, just hit it. Play the chord, leave it open, let it ring, piano pad, all day. These spaces are really common, and you might think, well, we don't even need to say that because they're so common. And I guess that's kind of true, but you have to start with the simple spaces, and then we can identify when we're doing something other than that. So we're doing it intentionally. So maybe this is kind of home base for many of you, or maybe even this level feels like something new, a new way.
That will encourage is like know your team, like David said, and then maybe have a conversation and tell them like, hey, what parts are you practicing this week? Oh, pads and strings. Okay, I'm gonna take those out of the tracks. If there's anything that you hear, let me know. If there's anything that has to be put back, let me know also as well. And I think that will build some chemistry between you and your team, and also space if you want to go a little bit less spontaneous. It doesn't lose the energy, and yeah, it's always like it's a great resource to have. So yeah.
I have a question. My question is, this whole
better prepared. Julie, you want to take this one? You're part of a church that does a pretty great job of doing this communication.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, anytime you can sit down with your keys player is great, but on a week-to-week basis, like how much time do you have every week to get them there, you know, talk on the phone. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to have a face-to-face conversation to just talk in general about like, okay, most of the time, if you can fill this kind of space, that would be good because we have tracks or we don't have tracks. And then depending on how you're setting up Planning Center, if you're writing out, you know, parts for people to sing and all that, you can just add that in there and say, hey, you know, or if they are someone that wants a little bit more direction of like, what sounds do you want me to play for every song? You could list that out. Or you could just say, hey, this is the general space that we kind of need to be filled. Could you use your judgment and, you know, choose your sounds wisely and fill that space appropriately?
Another thing that I ran into back in the day when I realized my keys players were just deer in the headlights when I would ask them to do something. I realized that I wasn't using the right words. I was thinking like a guitarist or just like a vocalist. And I had to come up with a shared vocabulary with my worship keys players. Back then, I don't know if I was even using words like pads very much. I was just saying, if you could just fill the space, like you could just kind of cover, and it was very abstract. So the exact terminology you use can be figured out in conversation with the people you already have. What words mean something to them? Ask them like, how would you describe what we're hearing on this song? And then make a note, okay, they called it that. So the next time I want something that sounds like that, I'm going to throw that word back out because I know it means something to them, and then I'll see. Did they give me back what I wanted? Yes. Add it to the list? No. Okay, let's figure out what we actually mean when we say bright pad or whatever. So that language being similar, shared, and understood. One time I was the leader of the youth band. I had a great drummer who I'd known a long time. He was a good friend of mine. He was very talented. And then the adult service band realized he was really good, and then they just took him away.
Sorry, that's it. You okay? No, I'm not. Come back to me, Donovan.
I was leading worship at a church a while back, and everybody called in sick the morning of. And one of the guys, I was like, "Where's the bass player?" The sound guy goes, "He threw up in the lobby." And I was like, "Oh, where's the vocalist? She got COVID." Oh, I was like, "Where's the drummer? He got COVID. He was with the vocalist." And I'm like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. Like, why am I here? Why am I here? I don't want to get sick.
Wow. Pays to be platinum for life with Marriott. Let's check out this Residence Inn 2-bedroom suite. Okay, here's the fridge and the stove and the microwave and the dishwasher. Yeah, this looks so this is the first bedroom. Oh my, with another bathroom. And then the master bedroom, I guess, is over here. Yep, and the bathroom is over here for the master. Oh, I like that fireplace. Oh boy, okay. I'll have to stay at a Residence Inn again. Forgot that we can get this upgrade. It's a little bit late. Okay. Turn the ice maker on. Over and out.
Nothing can stand against the power of our God. Almighty fortress, you go before us. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. You shine in the shadow, you win every battle. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. Almighty fortress.
Seasons in our lives where we are rebuilding. And I want to encourage you today with some foundations to help you rebuild and then thrive from there. Now, I believe that there are 4 key foundations that must be in place for any ministry leader before anything else. And, you know, I wanted to start here. I wanted to start with these foundations because sometimes in ministry, isn't it true that we get like fast-tracked with the busy, right? We get fast-tracked and it's like, I got this going on and this going on and this going on, and we miss those foundations, or sometimes we just skip over them, right? And so the reason I had you guys start out today with the question, how are you showing up today, is because I want to encourage you through this session as we go through some core foundations. Maybe you've been a worship leader or you've been a tech team or a worship team for like a ton of years. That's amazing. Maybe you're brand new. I think that we have people from the whole spectrum here. But I believe that it's really important for us, no matter where we're starting from, no matter where we're at, that we check on these foundations. And so I am here to check in on you today. And so we're gonna jump right in here. And I had one slide, I forgot. You can go to that first slide of my family and those photos. I skipped right over it, but I want to tell you guys, relationships are important to me, and so I think it's important to know where we're starting from. And it's okay if you guys can't get up there, no worries. There it is. Okay, that's my husband, Gabe. We've been married for 18 years. We have 3 sweet girls. And I love being a mom and being a wife and a homeschool mom. And I love training worship leaders. And I love leading worship. I love being together with other people and just spending time in the presence of God. And as I train worship leaders and as I do things like this, I always start right here with these foundations. So here we go. The first step to laying a solid foundation for rebuilding is remember the goal and the why so you don't forget the joy. Remember the goal and the why so you don't forget the joy. Now, what's the goal? Well, our goal is pointing people to Jesus, right? That's our goal. And if you are not the lead singer, don't check out, because I'm talking to everybody. This is about our hearts and our foundations in our hearts. So the goal is pointing people to Jesus. And sometimes in the process of that, sometimes we lose sight of the why behind our what, right? We have to know the why behind our what. The
For some memes and some worship fails. Guys, before we get into that, let me introduce my other panelists here. We have Jimmy. Where are you from, Jimmy?
Jimmy.
Jeremy?
No.
Sorry, Jimmy?
Jamie.
Jimothy?
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe.
All right. Jimmy from Hey Worship Leader. I reside in Raleigh, North Carolina.
All right, and Mr. Chad over here.
That's right, I'm Chad Buckland. I am from Worship Leader Hangout, and I live in Greenville, South Carolina.
Awesome. So we're up here. We're up here today as kind of leaders of online communities, right? You guys are big in the YouTube space. I barely on YouTube. I'm on Instagram primarily, and the TikTok. I just showed my age there with the whole TikTok thing. So before we get into like the memes and the fails and all that kind of stuff, I just want to like talk with you guys about what is like the same thing we talked about in the mixer. Like, what is your worst worship fail that you've experienced as a worship leader?
Yeah, I'll go first, Chad.
You go first.
Wait,
Jimmy, will you go first?
Let me go. No, I just think back to when I first started leading worship. I was very nervous, singing Amazing Grace. How sweet the sound. And I got through the first verse, and I was like, they weren't going to the second verse. And I just needed the first few words. I could have done it, and they never put it up. I sang the first verse 4 times.
So crazy. Has anybody done that before? Like, everybody knows the first verse of Amazing Grace, but does anybody else know the other verses? Like,
I still don't.
Still don't know. So, Chad, what's yours?
Yeah, so mine actually involves Loop Community Prime, the app.
Oh.
And how many times have we plugged in the left and right channel backwards? Well, this was pretty early on in the app days, and I plugged it in backwards. I don't even know how this happened. And you could hear 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, and they click very loud in the house.
Was it the girl voice or the guy voice?
We used the girl voice.
You used the girl
at that
voice,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Intro to, like, yeah.
That was perfect. That was great. Absolutely. So of course I made it obvious, and I was like, turned back to the drummer, and yeah, I should have just went on.
How many people have had that happen, where the clicks and cues came
Yeah,
through?
oh,
we see some
my
hands. That's awful. You just have to own it at that point, because it's like you take the mystery out of it. You just address it, and you take the mystery away, then it's less of a distraction later on. My favorite worship fail that I've experienced, and y'all have to raise your hands if you've done this, because I know you have. And I'm actually really mad at Cody Carnes for doing this to us. The song Run to the Father, right? You get to the bridge, running from life to death. Who says it? It's supposed to be running to. Wait, I can't even think of it. I don't have a confidence monitor with the lyrics on, so I don't know what the lyric is. Running to life from death. No one talks like that. That's opposite. You're running from something to something. So, yeah, I've committed heresy. Anybody else done that? I've definitely done it. Running from life to death. All right, yeah, I'm not alone, so that's good. So here, we're gonna, I have this fancy clicker here. I've never done this before. I've never had the clicker.
Did you turn it on?
It is on, it's on. I'm like, wow, I've always given this to the communicator, you know, and I've never actually done it myself.
We'll see if this
We'll see
is
if
a
it works. So
fail.
we're good on video? We're good on video. We almost had a worship fail, like a tech fail today with the videos. So we're gonna do the fun part. We're gonna show you some memes up here and we're gonna talk about them. So here we go with the first one. You'll see this one. Alright.
Singing into the butt of the
Do I hit next to get off of that?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna ask you guys, like, what would you do every meme that we talk about, every worship fail video that we see? We're gonna talk about what you